Hello, everybody. So those of you just joining us, you missed our lovely Shots song soundtrack. Initially, I had on the explicit version. Teresa almost drove up off the road, so I made sure to change that promptly. But we are celebrating Bar Week. I'm going to talk about the launch of Barre Blend, the launch of Beach Bar Vegan, some other tips for how to handle that launch, some trainings that are really important for you to subscribe to or dial into that relate to that launch, and then focusing in on how to define your success by really defining your enough, which is going to be our little non-coach related training, but just personal development related training. And then we'll end with an action item. Jessica is here. She is under the weather in a sense, and so I'm going to be doing the talking tonight. So I've got my water and I'm ready to roll. Let's get going with the first of our bar launches, which is our vegan beach bar launch, which is happening tomorrow. Good, Jess, you look great. You're welcome to, if you want to chat, you can do your thing. Vegan Beach Bars launch tomorrow. All of the information for the ingredients and all of that stuff can be found in the FAQs. It's really important that you understand how to navigate Coach Office, understand how to find things in the FAQs. As we like to joke, you don't want to ever be an asshole. You want to be able to find the answers yourselves. But tomorrow is launch day for that. It's an important segment of the protein bar market. There's it's like a murder's happening upstairs, so please ignore any child screaming. We are fine. This is the norm at bedtime. But it's a market in the protein industry that we as Beachbody have not been able to tap. But if you look at Perfect Bars, if you look at RX bars, if you look at Lara bars, certain things that people really enjoy is the fact that they are vegan. So this is something that's going to help with that, low on the glycemic index, all that good stuff. So make sure you're contacting your current Beach Bar customers. Anybody who hasn't dived into that, definitely look at your Shakeology lists and see who's on vegan Shakeology. Look who's into Daily Sunshine. Those are the types of people you want to reach out to and make sure that you're spreading this word for sure. And for our biggest launch, starting tomorrow, Barre Blend goes on sale. So if you did not listen to Elise on the National Wake Up Call today, it is a must that you go and do that. I'm going to be very brief with my talking about the specifics of the program and why it's so awesome. I did make some points from her call and from other things, but it's really imperative that you listen to her describe her journey to this program and through this program. First off, one of the things that I loved is she talked about how everyone's talking about her arms, and I'm a little arm obsessed. I kind of stared at Jericho's the entire time I did Morning Meltdown. I'm now staring at Amwala's. I'm not complaining about looking at those. I love arms. And the first thing I thought of when we did the bar sample was, holy Jesus, her arms are amazing. And that's like what I look at myself when I'm looking at my video. That's what I'm looking. And she said she never went above a 2-pound weight when she did the entire 60-day program. And she really stressed the idea that within the program, there are the 3 different levels. There's the modifier, which is no or low impact, the midline, which she follows the entire time, the occasional intensified work move, and then the intensifiers for the real hardcore dancers. She wanted people to be able to go through this program 3 times, 180 days of workouts, and never do the same workout twice. And that's a really interesting perspective because it takes Morning Meltdown 100 and it kind of flips it on its head, because now we're talking about a half of a year of a program. If people really like her energy and really love it, they can have a unique experience for 180 days, Monday through Friday. And that's really amazing. It's really, really cool. She also said that you have to let go of your ego. She really stressed the idea of that. That, for example, when she was using the 3-pound weights, she said her arms were shaking so bad she couldn't do the move and she had to put the weights down. And it's okay. It's going to be a program that's going to seem so simple, but to go with the modifier or to go with the midline is totally okay. And it's going to give you long-term goals and long-term sustainability for this program. One thing that I didn't know is that, first off, with her bar background, she comes from the original bar school of bar, right? The Lottie Burke, I forget, method. Regardless, the person that invented bar I almost said hundreds of centuries ago. I'm lying to you. Decades ago. And it was based off of a professional dancer who was injured and through her physical therapy journey decided to create something that was safe for athletes, dancers in particular, to heal their body through movement. So it's rooted in physical therapy. It's rooted in healthful body balance, core stability, working on your strength and flexibility from a safety and healing perspective. This isn't a program that should be battering our bodies. And if you keep that in mind, you're not going to be pushing to the intensifier all the time. You're going to be building up to it. So I really thought that was a really, really cool thing. What I really loved as well about what she had to say on the National Wake Up Call, that I want you to go back and listen to it yourself, is the whole idea of the affirmations. She created most of them, and there are 5 blank affirmation cards that we get to create ourselves. And I think those are going to be really powerful tools for us for marketing, but also just for our own empowerment, for us to really redefine who it is that we are as individuals and how this program is going to transform us. And using those daily affirmations as a posting point and as a sharing point, as a conversation starter, is going to be such a really neat thing. I would suggest perhaps doing a quick little live video maybe every morning when you share your card and talk your audience through it. Or maybe once a week, your favorite of the affirmations, the one that really resonated with you. You can label your posts with them. You can use those as hashtags. You can do so many different things with those affirmations alone. And I thought that was really powerful. But one of the things that she said in this call that I think is really could be part of our marketing plan moving forward is this idea that the program is a confidence program. She said that there have been programs that are weight loss programs, strength building programs, muscle building programs, lean muscle programs, nutrition programs. This is a confidence program. This is a program because we're going to have to check our ego at the door, and because we're not going to be grunting our way and cursing our way through it, and I am loving cursing my way through 6 weeks of the work, that it's going to help us develop our confidence. I looked last year, I was thinking about this, when Transform 20 launched, it really launched at an important time for me personally, and it did feel like a personal transformation. And every time Shanti spoke, I felt like he was speaking just to me. And what she was saying on the National Wake Up Call today, I feel like this program has that same impact. And I got that quite a bit with Jericho and Morning Meltdown, but I felt like we didn't know the cast very well. I felt like there were so many things that could have been more developed in that side of things. She's adorable and the program was freaking awesome, but it sounds like Elise is going to kind of bridge that gap, is going to give us Shanti level energy and momentum, and Jericho level adorableness and arms, and just give us this program that's going to take us from who we are today to a truly fully confident person at the end of that journey. And the reason I brought up confidence and brought up the affirmations, I want us to start sprinkling that content into our posts. So even if you're not talking about a fitness post, even if it's not a nutrition post, if it's about, watching your kid climb up the ladder to hang something on the Christmas tree, if it's about yesterday or Saturday, I posted about my son who volunteered to be goalie at his first game of the season, and he'd never practiced goalie before. Talking about ways we're seeing people explore their confidence, test the waters of confidence, grow in confidence. That gives us a recurring theme. I've talked about this in my team calls in the past. I'm an English teacher, so I think about things in that perspective, about kind of breadcrumbing little ideas. And it's not breadcrumbing, ooh, I have a launch coming. Ooh, does anyone like bar? Ooh, look at this, me and my bar. Ooh, look at me doing my ballet and my yoga. We get that. They've seen that from us all the time. But breadcrumbing themes of confidence or being limitless or feeling empowered, the ideas of her affirmations, when we breadcrumb those in our posts, it might reach an audience that isn't constantly seeing us. Because when they see a picture of us doing our workout or they see a video of our workout, they know what it is. They don't have to read the caption. They've been there already. They know the story. But when suddenly it's a picture of my son as the goalie and there's a story behind it, they're starting to pay attention. So this gives us a place to enter the conversation, enter the consciousness of other people, and really play around with our own confidence and our own growth and sharing in a way that's human and not just fitness and nutrition. And I know we all do this already, but to make a conscious effort of planning it out and being sure that every couple of posts are talking about confidence, every couple of posts are talking about empowerment or growth or whatever it is that you feel like this is going to be the program for you when you're not talking about fitness, now you can start real conversations with those people. Oh, thank you so much for liking my post about confidence. It's something I'm really working on. Do you feel like you're a confident person? Nowhere in there did I talk about a bar workout, and nowhere in there did I talk about, sweating and losing weight and beating the holiday bulge and all of the things that everyone's talking about. But really starting to focus in on that is important. For the very basics of the program, the launch window from the 3rd to the 15th is for coaches only. So it's also a good conversation to have about customers who might be interested in that early access, about engaging them in as a coach first and moving them with that. They're also adding in with the VIP launch group. The first, and this was kind of unclear, I didn't look back in the FAQs, I'm being a little bit of an asshole, but when Kevin was going through this in the beginning of the National Wake Up Call, he said the first month of UPF and the 2B Mindset monthly memberships is included in the VIP access, but I believe it's only if it's purchased with those programs. Like they waive the first full month's fee of that. But 2B Mindset and Ultimate Portion Fix are 60% off with the purchase of these the early access. So that's a pretty significant discount as well. So keep that in mind. Also, if you didn't listen to the National Wake Up Call or read Carl's email from earlier, we're getting those $10 off promo codes. They are applicable on these sale packages, and they are also refillable on the 14th. So if you use 1, 2, or all 3 of your promo codes, the number you use will get reloaded. So you'll get another 1, 2, or 3 on the 14th. So you can have up to 6 promo codes per business center this month based on your sales and based on your usage of those. But that would be by the 14th. So it's not if I use it on the 17th, now they're going to pop one in. Whatever you use by the 14th, they will reload, and you will get those for the second half of the month, which is really, really cool. Let's see here. I think that's it for the businessy side of things. But all those all of the early access for Barre Blend are $20 off. The other thing that I wanted to mention just in terms of this kind of stuff is National Wake Up Call from last week. Kate Schulte's is phenomenal, and she talks about launches, and she goes into so much more depth than I'm going into right now. So besides getting to know Elise and hearing her energy and hearing her emotion behind this, really taking the time to go and listen to Kate, and she talks her way through her launch strategy and how she relaunches programs constantly. And whatever program she's doing, she treats it like a launch. She doesn't wait for Beachbody to come up with these programs, but she treats it like a launch. And she had some really great tips, and I'm going to task you guys as an action item for yourself within the next 24 hours, because if you don't do it in 24 hours, you're not going to do it, to listen to that one. I would even listen to that one before you listen to Elise, just because it's really important to get those strategies, and it's actionable. Elise is just full of great knowledge about Barre. You can listen to that while you do the dishes tomorrow. But listen to Kate when you can take your time and take notes and really put into action what she's talking about. With Barre Blend and with launches and all of this stuff, I need water. I want to invite everybody, kind of piggybacking off of Melissa's Thanksgiving Day workout, which just didn't work for me because we were en route to Baltimore. But I would like to invite everybody to a Saturday morning, 6:30 in the morning, just figured, it's the time that we landed on earlier in some discussions with some people. Every Saturday between now and the official start of the program in January 14th, I would like to host a live Barre sample. So we can do the free sample. We can do one of the first 10 workouts until those disappear. We can do the free sample again once those disappear. But to invite everybody to join us at the bar, you can play the song Shots if you'd like and intrigue them. But to join us at the bar, 6:30 a.m., it'll be open to everybody. I'll post a link here in the in Team for Dynasty and in Tribe Redefined. You can create your own event, use the link, call it whatever you want. And I will stream the workout each Saturday morning at 6:30. So as many people as you would like, whoever you can invite, if you want to just focus in on one Saturday, if you want to do all of them. But I figure building momentum, it really came from my listening of Kate's National Wake Up Call, is just this idea of creating the excitement, creating FOMO, and also showing them all the possible, entry points and all of the excitement and the community and all of that. So I think it would be really cool. And if we made it a recurring event, it could really give us a chance to reach as many people as possible. So 6:30 a.m. Saturdays moving forward. When I post the recording of the call, I will share that link as well. And I'll create an event maybe within the team pages also, so we can do some chatting in those events on some logistics and things, so it doesn't cloud up the team page. That's something I will also do. All right. Any questions? Let me see what the chat says, and then I'll get into the Jenna Kutcher stuff. All right. Cool beans. All right, I'm going to try to keep her stuff quick. It actually wasn't as fascinating as I thought it was. When I listened to her podcast again and sat down and took notes, she kind of repeats herself a little bit. But if you don't subscribe to Jenna Kutcher's Goal Digger podcast, I suggest you do. It's really phenomenal. Not every episode is for me, but I like her honesty, her energy. I like the intention with which she's built her business and her purposeful attention that she pays to self-care, to rest, to really giving herself that space to recharge. And the episode that I'm sharing with you, unfortunately, let me see if I still have it queued up because I did not write down the date. It's from November 20th, actually, so you may have already listened to it. But it's called Defining Enough as an Entrepreneur. Defining Enough. Maybe because it had define in it, my interest was piqued. But she really talks about one thing that I thought was imperative. And it's a trap that I have found myself, not only in this business, but just in life in general. It kind of relates to comparison. It kind of relates to reaching for something because you feel like that's what you're supposed to reach for, but not because that's exactly where your heart or your season of life puts you. And so she talked a bit about how when she first started her business, talking to a person who had said to her, and this was like when Jenna was a nobody on social media, was just still a wedding photographer, and she attended a conference to kind of learn something about business. And she didn't name this person, but a person who became a mentor of hers was there and said, oh yes, I have a number that I put on my vision board each year. And once I earn that amount of money, I unplug and take the rest of the year off. And Jenna was like, what? You're leaving money on the table? Like, why would you do that? If you can reach it that fast or you can hit that goal by November, why not keep going through December and see how much higher you can take it and all of that? And the woman said to her, because I don't want to burn out, because I want to always love this. And Jenna said it took her years of working before she realized that was the truth for her. And now I don't want this to mean you hit Success Club on November 30th and you take December 1st through the 5th off and then you're working like a dog to kind of get your act together again. I don't mean that. But what I mean is we each need to define what our enough is, not what your enough is because I'm your upline. Not what my enough is because Jess is my upline. Not what my enough is because I watch Melissa do this or Robin do this or Brooke do this. What our enough is personal. It's ours. And how we define that is going to keep us propelling forward in this business. Because when we start to define our enough by someone else's standard, because I'm running beside them and I want to keep pace, or because they're up here and I feel like I have to do this, it just doesn't work. That doesn't mean that our goals aren't the same. But it's the reason behind those goals, what we're okay with on a daily basis, what we're okay with for the year, what we're okay with in the long run, that's necessary for us to understand personally, in isolation, separate from all of the other people, all of the bells and whistles, all of the rank advancements, all of the Success Club points. So she talked about doing a couple of things. You can do them now with me, you could write them down, or you can go back and rewatch this, or you could just pretend I never said any of this. Whatever feels right for you is fine with me. The first thing you need to do is take a couple of minutes and define your ideal day. She said this occurred to her, I think it was last winter. She was in her cabin because she and her husband own 1 million houses now, like in the woods and in Hawaii, and they like have done all these things. And she was sitting there and she had woken up and she rode on her Peloton bike and she played with her baby and she did a little bit of email checking, and then she was sitting at the griddle making pancakes, and she said it just occurred to her that this was the day she'd been dreaming of for the few years that she was building her business. This moment where she could be unplugged, aside from a couple emails, in the woods with her family, making pancakes and doing her Peloton bike whenever the hell she felt like it. And she said she had to dial back and think about what she did to get to that point. And she said she had to look at what her ideal day looks like. And then from that vision, decide what her priorities were. Priorities that are financial, priorities that are time-based, priorities that are growth-based. So if your goal is to have your day be, 50% on your coaching business and 50% with your family, or if your ideal day is waking up before the sun, doing your workout, working for an hour, and then never touching the business again and really focusing on your job and focusing on your kids, or if whatever your ideal day feels like right now, what your ideal day will feel like when you have success, Understanding what those two things look like and making sure you're filling your time with priority actions that fulfill that. So if you want to have that pancake flipping day in the future, where you don't have to worry about work because you set yourself up for such success, then right now maybe your priorities have to be a little bit stricter. If for you success is, and this is something Kate Schulte said, and I had to laugh because it's something I've thought of before, she said her initial goal was to be able to pay for her products and get her nails done whenever she wanted. That was her initial goal. That's adorable. Wonderful. If that's your ideal day, is to be able to make enough money to go get your nails done whenever you want, perfect. Then that's your goal. Then you should be able to set your financial, your growth, and your number of coaches, number of challengers, what your rank would look like based on that. But base it off of what you truly designed for yourself, what you truly want, not what looks good, not what's going to get the team to a certain point. Because if we're each reaching for goals that don't belong to us, that aren't sitting at home with our ideal self, we're not going to reach those goals, or we're going to reach them and we're going to fall off of them. But if we're each reaching for the goal that, according to Jenna, we designed based on our ideal scope of our life, we will have them. Because here's the thing she said that I thought was really cool. Your goals do not define your enough. Nothing in there had to be, my ideal day is being a 17,000 star diamond and having a team of 100 million people. My ideal day perhaps is sleeping in for once if I wanted to and not feeling guilty about it, and doing a workout because my kids still sleep because they fell asleep at night easily, because there wasn't a lot of stress and running around after school because I'm not working at school, I'm coaching full time, whatever my ideal day is. It's not because I'm X number of rank, it's because here's how I feel and here's how I move about my day. And then I can set goals that fit that. But when your goals are your enough, if I said my goal was 17,000 star diamond with 100 million people on my team, and I'm only a 16,000 star diamond, I then am not enough. So if we define our enough by our goals and we do not reach our goals, we are not enough. And that's unfair. And I've fallen track to that too many times. I've defined myself by a goal that I felt like was the thing, that was it for me. And then I haven't hit it, and then I've sucked at life, and I've sucked in grumpiness, and I haven't been there for my team, or I haven't continued to build momentum because, well, I can't build momentum. How can I build momentum? I can't reach my goals. But if my enough is working out in the morning with a couple of my girlfriends and chatting with them throughout the day about how we're building our businesses, then it feels pretty good. And my goals are a tool to help me sustain that. But they are not the thing that defines my enough. And separating that was really eye-opening for me when I listened to this, and felt like the thing that I needed to hear, especially this time of year. There's so much going on. It's so important with all these launches for us to stay on top of it, but it's also important for you to feel healthy and to spend time with your family and to do your Christmas shopping and to have your Christmas parties and to do those things. And that's okay. That's enough. It's enough. So own your goals, own all of that, but know your enough matters more. And your goals will support that, but they are not that. And you are more than those things. You are awesome. And we all are worthy of our goals, and we should all have them, and we should still strive for them. But they are the icing on top of our enough, but they are not the enough itself. She goes into that a lot more. She goes through this like 4-part series of how you can define that for yourself if you want more info on it. It was pretty neat. As I said, it was from her November 20th episode of the Goal Digger podcast, but it hit home with me. I feel like this time of year, be grateful for who you are, what you're doing, how you feel, showing up every day, being on this call, listening to the recording, whatever you're doing. That's enough. That's fabulous. That's perhaps more than you did yesterday. Or perhaps it's just a thing that made today enough for you. That's awesome. Let's all still have goals. Let's all still reach for the stars, and we'll have them, but we'll also have peace in the process. And I think that's a really important step. Anybody have any questions before we get to our action item? Oh, thought it was going to be 9 o'clock already, but I just made the cut. Okay, here's what I would like everybody to do. And we did this action on my team call last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, but it's important for us to keep doing this. Again, as I was saying, to use confidence or empowerment or something that's a theme from the affirmations of Barre Blend within our posts. It's also important for us to use Barre as a driving force to interact with other people. And I'm sure you guys are doing this because you're intelligent people. But what I would like you to do for the action item tonight, especially because it's the beginning of the month and hopefully you've done your inviting by today. Really, it's important to get that done in the morning. Eat that frog first. To go to Instagram and search for local barre studios. Go to Instagram and look at some bar related hashtags, or local yoga studios, local Pilates studios, local gyms. Go to the local, you can search by location. Go find a Pure Barre studio, find a whatever, Bar 30, what is it? I forget some of the names. This happened to me last time too. I have mental breakdowns. But look in your area. There's got to be a bar studio within the metropolitan area where you live, and start following some of the people that are interacting with those posts. Don't go to the followers and just start following them, but look at the recent posts. Who's liking them? Who's commenting? Those are the people who are actual active Instagram users. Also, another thing that I forget if it was Kate or Elise suggested, I think it was Kate, with bar launching, see if you can find yourself a bar class to take, a local bar class sometime this month. And then you can do a live kind of review after the fact and talk about how Barre Blend relates to that, but you don't have to leave your house. And oh my God, thank goodness, because there's a snowstorm coming tomorrow. I don't have to miss my bar class because it's in my living room, that kind of stuff. But don't be afraid to get out into the community, try some things, look at that stuff. But following people who interact with those studios is really going to be helpful. You find bar instructors, why not? Follow them, chat them up, give them some comments. Do the CCQ method, which is compliment, comment, question. When you leave them a comment, something that Janelle Summers always talked about that I liked. I like bar too, and I love those tights. Where did you get them? There, done. Comment, compliment, question. Well, everyone, I talk for 57 minutes a day usually in my classroom, so I'm going to stop now before I keep going. I'm going to stop the recording. Once you've done that and you